Hey everybody, welcome back to my art channel. So this is another art video. In this one I am doing a two-parter. I think I'm going to do a couple of those going in the future just to slow it down a little bit so you can see a little bit more about what I'm doing in each piece. So this will be one of two art videos to this particular piece, and then we'll all get to see the big reveal in the end, as I haven't actually completed this piece yet, so we'll both be surprised, I guess, as this piece comes to a close in next week's video. And so in this one I'm doing a forest type scene with lots of trees, lots of foliage, and I'm doing it in such a way that there is lots of light cascading coming from the back, just enough to bring out lots of highlights and the intricate details of the tree work and foliage, while still keeping lots of shadows dancing in there as well. And you'll notice that when I'm doing pieces like this, sometimes you'll see me sketch out in the video itself, and sometimes you won't. But I do tend to sketch out a brief idea ahead of time just to give myself a little bit of an anchor as to where I want to start. Hazards of being an artist, sometimes I have so many different ideas that when I stop and sit down to actually do a piece that, your mind kind of blanks for a moment, you don't know where to start. So to prevent that from happening too often, I tend to sketch out what I would like to accomplish or start with, at least some kind of what I would call the skeleton to the piece, so that even if I don't follow it exactly, it gives me the groundwork as to where I was going originally with the idea. So in this one, again, it's lots of trees, lots of foliage, lots of light coming in from different angles. And you'll see that when I'm doing a piece like this as well, I tend to go, well, actually in most of my pieces, I go back and forth. I try and zero in on the foreground, and then I bounce back and forth between the foreground and the background. Starting out, I'm blocking in all of the colors that are the primary focus in the piece, so there isn't a ton of detail, there isn't a ton of it's not really a pretty part to the piece or the process. It's just something that you have to do. You block in all your shapes, you block in all your main colors, and then as you go through it, you slowly introduce the darker tones and then the lighter tones as well. And for each piece, I think I will change what I want to do or how I do the process depending on what the piece calls for. And it's nice doing these videos because for someone that's self-taught and learning as I go, it allows me to kind of look back and learn from my own mistakes and to learn from myself. So, in this one, I started by painting all the tree trunks in first, and then I started adding in all the foliage on top, and a little bit of hindsight, I think I would have done it in reverse. I would have done all the greens and such in the background first, in between the tree trunks, and then drawn in all of the tree trunks afterward. But the nice thing about acrylic paint and watercolors as well, I find that they are incredibly forgiving, so to go back and forth between the foreground and background isn't overly complicated, and it is fairly easy to self-correct as you go. So even if you make a mistake, you can wait about 5-10 minutes depending as to how wet your paint is, and just go over the area again. So really it doesn't matter whether I would have started with the foliage or the tree trunks first. It would have come out the same way for me. So I'm just looking at it in terms of productivity and how I might change things up in the future, that I may start with the background colors first and then work the tree trunks back in. So, but I do a lot of back and forth where I'm adding darks and then I'm adding a bit of lights and then I'm going back and adding more darks and then adding more lights. It's a really good way to layer up a piece and just to make it look a little bit more realistic, as everything in nature, it has multiple layers to it. It's not just a flat image. There is lots and lots of fine details, and I find that the more layers you add to a piece, the more realistic it'll look in the end, and it adds just a lot of depth to the piece itself. So again, this is just the first part of this piece. There will be another video next week showcasing the final end results and the lead up to that. I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I look forward to showing you the end results next week. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and you're all staying safe out there with the virus and such going on. So I hope all of you are staying safe and staying healthy, and not going stir crazy for those of you who are trapped at home right now. So again, I thank you all so much for checking in, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great weekend. So this is what the piece looks like right now, and we will continue on with the second part of painting of the forest piece next week, and we'll see how it all turns out. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all really rather enjoyed it, and if you did, I highly encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, and to come back next week for a new one, as I upload new videos weekly. If you would like to see more of my artwork, you will find them on my website, which I have listed down below, and I will link that and all of my social media connections in the description below. Again, I thank you all so much for checking in and seeing what I've been up to and supporting this channel up into this point, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye.